Inglewood, California. Here's the starting lineups now for the Utah Jazz. Stockton and Hornacek in the backcourt. Malone, Ostertag, and Bryon Russell up front. The Lakers bigger than Utah at every position, and big bodies have a tendency to wear you down. Van Exel and Jones in the backcourt. Jones looking to get on track tonight with Campbell, O'Neal, and Robert Horry, who's coming off a historic night a couple nights ago in Salt Lake. Let's send it over to the third man of our broadcast team, Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. You guys know there's no better place to play in the playoffs than the Great Western Forum. This place is packed with excitement. Got Diane Cannon just down here to left me, passing out brownies. But one guy who may be a little questionable, and a guy Dale Harris needs to come up big tonight, Eddie Jones, sprained his middle finger on his right hand towards the end of the game. Had x-rays taken. It is just a sprain, but he didn't shoot the ball well, Quinn, and in game 2, he needs to come up big for the Los Angeles Lakers.
No doubt about it, Scott. He was 0 of 3 in that game. He's been the second leading scorer all year. They need to get some perimeter scoring from him. And even if Dale Harris thought about it, if you don't go with Eddie Jones long, Byron Scott had a 24-point night off the bench. You can always go there as an option.
Speaking of Eddie Jones, how important is it for him to get in the early offense? As you see our officials, Pavetta, Durham, and Billy Oakes, and out of bounds it goes. But it would seem to me that for the Lakers, Eddie Jones early in that offense is going to be a key.
The question, if he doesn't get into it, I don't think there'll be a hesitation by Dale Harris to get him out, because you don't. This is a must game, the only must game they've had this year. I think Jones, psychologically, you got to be strong and come up with some play early.
Rejected by Ostertag. That is his 8th block in the games played in this series so far. And the Utah Jazz will get it back just 15 seconds into this game. Here comes Stockton. Hornacek on the wing, picked up by Jones. A first shot from Malone. Rebound. Hustling is Stockton. Russell for 3. Rebound by Ostertag, right by O'Neal. They kick it back out in a fresh 24.
Great hustle by Ostertag. I mean, he's a little bit unheralded, but he's a guy that will stay after the ball, very smart.
Hornacek double, they trap him. He's hemmed in, and it's knocked out of bounds with 13 seconds to shoot. As Dale Harris is trying to get some tougher defense tonight.
Well, yes, and what he's done is on the first pass, he's sending whomever's out coming off the ball to trap. They're trying to trap the ball so you can't get it on Karl Malone's side.
Here comes Stockton. And he'll take the 2-point shot. Ostertag with the offensive board. Couldn't get it to go in. And we're still scoreless as the Lakers come the other way.
You've got to find a way to get Elden Campbell in the game, too. He's the other guy that just has not performed well at all.
Robert Horry for 3. He was whacked pretty good. He'll take 3 shots.
Yeah, and Bryon Russell just makes a bad foul on Horry, but when a guy goes for a league record 7 straight in the playoffs, you tend to go at him a little too aggressively, and that's what Jerry Sloan is saying to Bryon Russell. Be smart when you go out.
So here's Robert Horry, who had not had very many good games in the playoffs. First round or even into the second until game 2. You can see 21 points, which was huge for this Laker team, which is trying to get that inside-outside game going.
You'll see Robert Horry gets it because he's making shots. You see Russell comes in, he's out of control, and Horry had been really good for the Lakers in terms of the scoring. Couldn't get it from Campbell, couldn't get it from Jones, so they got it from Robert Horry with 21 points. And then Byron Scott, the veteran of 3 championships here with the Lakers, had 24 points. So, as I said, Dale Harris will look to other people to come and get his team going offensively.
3 shots taken by Horry because he was fouled, taking a 3-point jump shot. So it is 2-0 Los Angeles. Hornacek fouled by Eddie Jones. First.
Yeah, I think the officiating is going to be called tight tonight. I think given everything that's happened in the last few games, officials are going to try to maintain control of this thing early, and then down the stretch, they'll let the players play.
Van Exel on Stockton. Ostertag up high in the circle guarded by O'Neal. And there's Hornacek. And over Eddie Jones. He can't get it to go. Rebound by Elden Campbell.
Solid defense there by Jones to make him shoot over the top for Hornacek.
Van Exel into Shaq. Knocked away by Ostertag, who draws the foul. But at least you can see the challenge being posted by Ostertag.
Yeah, but Shaquille is doing something that I think that they've got to have him do, and that's called claim in the paint. See, right here, Shaquille gets it, and then he just locks, and Ostertag tries to get over there. Once he realized Shaquille is under the basket, you should foul him.
And Shaquille O'Neal fans on the first free throw right there. And the other night in Salt Lake City, Utah, he was 5 of 10 from the free throw line. Shot 64% from the free throw line in the first round Portland win.
Yeah, he's starting to go work his way back down. It was like 48, for a while during the year.
Russell collides with O'Neal. And the foul called on Shaq, who picked up his 4th foul very early in the 3rd quarter in game 2. And that really wasn't a hindrance to the Lakers.
Well, they played better because they got out and run. As you see, one of the things you have to do with Shaquille is take the ball to the basket. Now, interestingly enough, it appears as though the team, having had to play some 26 games without Shaquille, 28 without him, might have been a little more comfortable getting up and out on the court, because they got in the game to the Lakers when Shaquille picked up the fouls and had to sit down. So there may still be a period of adjustment with a very young team going on here.
Well, 2nd-round draft choice, Bryon Russell hits. We're tied at 2.
I expected much more energy from the Lakers than I see now. I expected to see a more frantic pace than I'm seeing.
And you think they need that?
Oh, I think they do. They've got to play with a sense of urgency.
Doubled his shot out to Ori, swings it to Jones, drives under Russell, kicks it out to Campbell.
Dribble penetration is what got it.
Ori picks up Russell. Here's Malone, picked up by Campbell. Malone, who has ruled Campbell not only this year but years past. And Campbell get a hand on the ball, so the Lakers the other way.
Malone got a little bit of his own trick. He always does, knocks down on the ball.
Elden Campbell.
He's got a chance.
Shaq knocked it in inside as he dominates.
Shaq has got to get. Del Harris has challenged him to get 20 rebounds in this game. He is trying to get a young player in the circumstances that the Lakers are in to stand up huge for his team.
Elden Campbell has come out with some defense. Knocked it away from Malone, and here come the Lakers up by 4, 6-2. Van Exel and Stockton. They got the clear out. And Van Exel spins on Stockton. Can't get it to go. Inside, Shaquille O Neal.
Shaquille has come out with a great deal of effort here, trying to get himself down on the break or down in the paint where he can get some things done. If he does, you'll see on the back, Shaquille being active, timing a little bit, knocks it in. The big fella's come out strong from the start. He's got to get it going in the paint. Ostertag has 9 blocks. He's right here, and he'll come over to block the shot. And when he does, Shaquille can step in and get the block because nobody can get the putback because no one comes and blocked out. Watch, he comes over, Ostertag. There's nothing Hornacek can do. When you go block a shot, somebody's got to come and block the big fella out. That time, O'Neal got good position inside. If you take a look at his free throw numbers.
Ostertag is out of the game with a couple of fouls. They bring in Gref Foster, the missed free throw by O'Neal, and it remains 8-2 in favor of Los Angeles. And here comes Utah, 0 of 7. 0 of 7 from the floor to begin this game.
They go to a trap early. With this team, they're a little faster with a better shooter.
Nice ball rotation. Foster takes it outside. Here comes Stockton with a 3. Rebound, Shaquille O'Neal, 4 points and 4 rebounds to start the game. Jones to Campbell. He's played well early. Malone slaps it away, and a foul called on Karl Malone. And the crowd likes that, saying, hey, you're a game too late.
Yeah, they are. They like it because Karl got away with a foul in the last game on the Nick Van Exel. But I looked and I liked what I saw in the face of Elden Campbell. Now, assuming we see it the balance of the game, the foul happened. It was a hard foul. He made no recognition of Karl Malone. He just turned and walked away, which is the thing that he has to do, because I think Karl Malone has Elden Campbell thinking too much about Karl Malone.
This time in game 2 a couple nights ago, we had about 4 illegal defenses called already in the game, and there was some prompting from some writers here in Los Angeles. The question, the smarts of the Lakers, were they playing smart basketball against a very cerebral Utah team?
Now, truthfully, the illegal defenses are somewhat dependent on how those things are called.
Nice entry pass, Stockton to Malone. Rebound O'Neal, number 5.
O'Neal was a threat because he forced Karl Malone to shoot a fadeaway instead of letting him get the layup.
Here comes Nick Van Exel the other way. Utah 0 of 11, and Van Exel hits from the outside, and the Lakers have jumped off to a 10-point lead.
Jerry Sloan has decided he's seen enough. His club can't get a basket. He's got to find a way to get somebody an easy shot or get his team on the foul line, so he's taking a timeout.
22nd timeout taken by the Utah Jazz, who begin 0 of 11 from the floor. Karl Malone has started 0 of 4. This time, and He is seeing a little bit more Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille's protect the basket. Watch, Shaquille is there, so there's nowhere for him to go for Karl Malone. Even Robert Horry, who's been known for his defensive ability with his long arms, wide range, and able to get to the ball. 0 for 11 for the Jazz.
And let's check in with Scott Hastings.
I tell you what, Jerry Sloan very upset. Doesn't think this team has come out ready to play tonight's game. And his coach on the floor, John Stockton, almost repeating for verbatim what Jerry Sloan said. Those guys trying to get everybody fired up in that Utah Jazz huddle.
Yeah, they definitely need to do it. The Lakers aren't fired up, and the Jazz obviously have come along, and they don't have the kind of energy. But a 2-0 lead with the team you beat, that's where you've got to be tough. I think for the Jazz, if you take a look at Del Harris, I think one of the questions is, do you have the killer instinct? You got them down, do you bury them?
A big question coming into this game is how would the Lakers respond to the no call in game 2, end of the game, and gave Utah the win? Looks like they've come out not with fire in their eye, but with a cool and very calm professionalism as Malone is called for the travel. Reminder, the NBA playoffs continue tomorrow night with another doubleheader right here on TNT, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's the Heat and the Knicks in game 2. Then at 10:30 Eastern, the Rockets and Sonics in game 3. That's followed by Inside the NBA with virtual Vince Chilene. All tomorrow, right here on TNT.
But Kevin, tonight we already had one road team when you know that the Knicks won in Miami and the Bulls lost to Atlanta at home. So you can put the road team can get victories now. It didn't look that way at first.
Chicago's lucky they didn't lose game 1 because they trailed by 16 in that game as well.
Yeah, they came back and played a strong third quarter for that game.
Shot clock at 3. Van Exel. Shaquille.
No, bad decision.
Yep. He wasn't aware of the clock.
He wasn't aware of the clock. And I don't think, I mean, Nick didn't tell him. And a center generally is not aware of the clock, but I think Shaquille should have been because point guards are aware of the clock. What happened was defensive work forced him to pass to Shaquille, and then Shaquille tried to create, and it didn't work.
Good point. Here comes Stockton. Utah, 0 of 11. Foster. Russell trying for 3 and drilling it home.
Got a scrambling defense. A man is left open. Bryon Russell is a guy that can shoot 3-pointers.
Van Exel almost got it to go. Rebound by Foster. Here comes Stockton. This is Utah's game right here. 3-on-2. Russell tries to finish. Shaquille knocked it away. And a loose ball foul called on Shaquille O'Neal. And he's got 2.
Yeah, that's not the kind of foul you want to get. Shaquille slapping at the ball, slaps on the arm of Karl Malone, picks up his second.
Already Ostertag on the bench with 2. Foster's in place of him on the floor. And of course, it is almost center by committee for the Utah Jazz. They use Ostertag to start as we see rookie Travis Knight check in for the first time. Then they bring in Foster, talking about Utah, and then eventually Antoine Carr.
Well, they've got a variety of options to come up with, does Utah. But Travis Knight, the rookie from Connecticut, is a guy that plays better, I think, with Shaquille. But with Shaquille out of the game, Campbell is the guy that has to give him some inside scoring.
And he hasn't so far in this series. Malone, bodied by Horry, got it to go. The Jazz have hit 2 in a row.
Robert Horry can't guard Karl Malone. Even though he took a fadeaway, Robert Horry is just not strong enough. He's long enough, but not strong enough.
6:15 to play here in the first quarter as Horry works on Russell. Van Exel has it, working on Stockton. Shot clock at 9. And Van Exel with the youth against the experienced Stockton. Here's Jones, 4 to shoot, and he got it to go. What a shot by Eddie Jones.
I mean, against some great defense because John Stockton has done a very good job on that particular sequence. First of all, keeping Nick Van Exel in front of him. And Nick Van Exel had to throw it to somebody because he had nowhere to go. And you see Eddie Jones with a nice spin move. Stockton tries to come and help Hornacek too late. The chant for Eddie is in the crowd.
Jones said he wanted to get comfortable in the offense right off the bat. Get into the offense early in the game. 15-7, the Lakers.
But you can do that a couple of ways. You can wait for the offense to come to you. But when you struggle the way that Eddie Jones has, you got to go make some things happen. And that's what Jones did.
Malone, a nice move by Horry. And there's Elden Campbell following Karl Malone. Early tonight on TNT. Atlanta beat Chicago. That series is tied at 1 apiece. Atlanta has come out in that series, Quinn, and showed a resiliency, probably gained in the Detroit series win.
Atlanta has some of that resiliency because they play for a guy who's won an NBA championship, and Lenny Wilkins, who knows how to get certain things done. But the other thing to take note of is that Chicago, the leading scorer in the league, got 95 points. That's because you're playing against one of the top 2 defensive teams in the Atlanta Hawks, and you play defense, and that's what wins your championships.
Elden Campbell will take a seat on the bench. Sean Rooks will check in. They got him from Atlanta. Here's Karl Malone at the free throw line.
Hey, offensively, Kevin, with this lineup in, and it becomes incumbent upon Eddie Jones to be active to get some scoring because you don't have anybody on the low post with this lineup. You got Ori, Sean Rooks can do a little scoring, but he's mostly a guy that gets fouled. Van Exel needs to create some shots for his teammates.
Utah has never led. They began 0-11 from the floor. Now they trail 15-9. Eddie Jones doubled. Van Exel on the perimeter. Swings it out to Ori. And here's Jones again. Shot clock at 5. Ori cleans it up. Shot clock at 3. Buckle up for Robert Ori. And he can't get it to go. Rooks inside. That's loose. Travis Knight, the rookie.
Well, the Lakers are lucky to come out with a basket there because the shot clock was down when Ori took it to the basket and missed the layup. But staying active, at least aggressive for the ball, got him a basket.
Lakers have out-rebounded Utah so far, 9-7. Malone on Rooks. Oh, nice move by Malone to get free. Ori the rebound from Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac fouled Ori. He grabbed him on the arm. Karl Malone has Sean Rooks. I'm sure Jerry Sloan would like to see some action from Karl to take the ball to the basket as you take a look at Shaquille with 2 fouls on the bench.
And his buddy Elden Campbell's got foul trouble with 2. There you see Elden, and then Ostertag has the 2-foul problem right off the bat for Jerry Sloan's Utah Jazz. And here's Robert Ori at the free throw line, part of that 2-time champion Houston Rocket team. Let's take a look at the big Texan Ostertag, and what a great game, number 2 for Robert Ori.
Yeah, obviously 7 for 7 is an outstanding number. It's going 3-pointers without a miss. He made 9 3-pointers. He missed them, obviously some in the game he did, but he had 9 against Cleveland in 1996. So he's made a number of 3-pointers before.
Malone got it, but the Lakers got back well on defense. Under 5 to play in the first quarter. Utah now shooting 13%. And they call a foul on Travis Knight.
Those cross screens with the guard screening across put a lot of pressure on forwards because people like Travis Knight, sometimes they don't see Stockton and corner set who do a good job of not only taking fouls, but they'll do a better job of doing a little holding, a lot of faking. They get some foul shots as a result.
Iowa State's Jeff Hornacek, who turned 34 about a week ago, as you take a look at Elden Campbell, who began pretty well in this game. And then Corie Blount and the rest of that Laker bench. And Bill Harris has said that he only wants to use about a 7 or 8 man rotation through the playoffs.
That's everybody this time of year. You're not out here looking to try to make friends. And I think coaches sometimes, well, I think that happens during the year.
That's a good point.
You like guys, you want to give them minutes because they're friends. At this point of the year, you put the people on the floor that perform.
Lakers have led by 10, right through the hands of Knight. That was a nice pass by Rooks.
Yeah, if he's got a glove the size of a backboard. That thing was so hard, there was no chance for him to catch it.
It was it.
It was the right idea. The execution was a little suspect.
There's a shove.
On Rooks, again, on the guard. It's Hornacek going over to set the pick.
So maybe some mismatches as Byron Scott says to check back in. He had a great game, 2 up in Salt Lake a couple nights ago. 7 of 11 off the bench, 24 points. Scott comes in and Ori will leave with 2 points.
Well, that's because Del Harris looking to get whatever offense he needs to get on the floor right now. And in the first 7.5 minutes, there have been 13 foul calls. I said the officials were going to call it tight. But let's take a look here, if you will, at the fouls and the free throws in the series. Game 1, see as it goes. But from the line, that's what I want you to look at. Because at this point, the Jazz have made more free throws than have the Lakers shot. And that means that means they're savvy. They're getting themselves to the foul line, coming up with some easy baskets as you have to do in the playoffs.
Down by 10, the Utah Jazz to within 4. Jerome Kersey in the game, out to Scott, knocked away by Hornacek, who draws the foul.
Yeah, he also took a shot from Byron Scott, too. Byron made sure when he reached in for that one that he gave him a little something to think about. Byron from right here at Morningside High School here in Inglewood, California.
With Vancouver a year ago, re-signed by the Lakers this past summer. We talked about it in Game 2, but he adds a veteran leadership for a very young Laker team.
Yeah, he also played with the Pacers as they made their run and did very well. And so you see the Game 2, those are numbers he's had for the series. I mean, he really, that's all he's got. There's those 24 in the first game. He didn't play a lot. But as I said, I knew Dale was going to go early. He's just got to find some way to get some offense.
Scott hits a pair. Lakers by 6 for 17 in the first quarter. With Quinn Buckner and Scott Hastings, Kevin Harlan from Los Angeles. Isley taking the place of Stockton. They always take Stockton out about 6 minutes into the first quarter. Shot clock at 8. Russell into Kersey. And a travel. That's the second Utah turnover.
Well, that's pretty fortunate that it's only the second Utah turnover. That Jerry Sloan knows that was indecisiveness on the part of Bryon Russell, because he had a chance to really blow in there and penetrate. Well, Kevin, 4 minutes to go. This is a 6-point game. It looked as though this game was going to run away for the Lakers. The Jazz had just kind of fought their way back into it.
And Utah shooting 13%. Van Exel. Knocked away by Foster. Isley was there, and Isley picks up the foul. Isley's got 2. There's Howard Isley, and there's Nick Van Exel.
I think more importantly, you see the numbers that Nick Van Exel has. He's been a little more assertive this game. He was actually pretty quiet, given his history of the things that have transpired with him. Because I'm sure many people are familiar with the incident last year with the official and how he wrongly pushed the official. He is calm here, even though he kicked the table after the game because he was unjustly, I think, he felt somewhat persecuted because of non-call. He at least has come back with somewhat of an even keel and playing hard.
And then there was an earlier incident this season where he said the refereeing crew in a game played at Miami was on the take, and so the referees, at least the perception might be, aren't really a big fan of Nick Van Exel. But the crews have been so professional in this postseason. As another foul is called, as it begins to get a little physical for Karl Malone.
Well, please, I don't know if it ever gets physical. Look at the guns on this guy, the arms on you talking about a little physical for Karl Malone? Please.
But just finishing up on Van Exel, that was something that was brought up in the Los Angeles papers. There have been 2 incidents in the last year.
What you have, Kevin, is an emotional player who sometimes has done some things that I think, if in retrospect he would say, I made a huge mistake. And what he cannot do is allow those things that have happened in the past affect what he does in the future.
Arnold the Mailman Malone, a Louisiana sports writer, gave him that nickname, the Mailman, when he played down at Louisiana Tech, because he always delivered.
And Dale Harris just picked up a technical foul. And part of the reason I think Dale picked it up is because Karl Malone is starting to go to the foul line a lot, and he knows he doesn't have any forwards that can play Karl without fouling him. So he's trying to even it by getting some sentiment in his favor.
Who does? Who has anybody that can go against Karl Malone?
I agree, but right here what we have is a coach that knows his team needs some help, and he's trying to help him any way he can. Now people say, how's he helping by getting a technical? You force everybody to take a good look. You'll get a chance to see right there, and in no time, whatever was said low enough that no one else heard it but Dick Bavetta.
Veteran crew working this game tonight, a good one. Led by Dick Bavetta and Billy Oakes. Snap for 3. It'll be Utah's ball. They've trailed by 10. They trailed by 5. They've only shot 2 of 15 from the field to begin this game. It's astounding. They're down by just 5 points.
No, a veteran team is not. You're playing against a young Laker team. I don't know if it's astounding. It is unusual, but not so much astounding in the sense that they find ways to make plays.
Malone. Working on work. Shot clock down to 7. Now drawing the triple. He got the shot to get away and was fouled on the play. And inside, Sean Rooks picks up another foul. He's got 2.
He set this young man up so much. Watch Karl. You can see in his eyes he realizes he's gotten it. And now he realizes it's going to be a physical game, so he'll give a little fake and then come at it hard, knowing that Sean Rooks can't do anything but foul him. He just set Sean Rooks up. As you see, the Jazz already with 11 free throws, having not missed one.
Karl Malone. It's it again. Now it's a pristine 12 of 12 free throw shooting for the Utah Jazz, and Karl Malone is coming off a 31-point, 11-rebound game at the line. And he's got 7 with 3 boards, yet 1 of 6 from the field.
You heard in the background, and all of a sudden you take a look at Jack Nicholson, not exactly happy about his team's position now. They start counting for Karl Malone because there's always been some claim that he takes too long to shoot the foul shots, and he struggled last year from the line, so they're trying to get it going this year.
Sean Rooks drew a lot of attention inside the lane. There's another foul. You're right, they're calling this close. They called in game 2 very close as well up in Salt Lake on Tuesday night. Utah is shooting 2 of 15, yet they trail by 3.
That's a great addition to Major League Baseball to have somebody of that caliber in their organization.
Sean Rooks is replacing Shaquille O'Neal at the big position up front as he hits his first free throw. O'Neal went out with his second foul at 6:44, so he has been out 4 minutes. And unlike in game 2, Quinn, where with O'Neal in foul trouble, the Lakers built a nice comeback against Utah. Tonight, it's been Utah coming back on the Lakers without O'Neal.
Yeah, because Utah has taken the ball to the basket, gotten to the foul line. 13-9 run since he left. Karl Malone to the foul line 6 times, 8 points, has not missed a foul shot. That's what you do when a shot blocker leaves the game. You go to the basket.
Lakers by 5. We're at 2:43 of the first quarter. Stockton, great touch pass. Hornacek, Malone can't get it in. Malone is 1 of 7. He tried to throw it off Rooks, out of bounds. It's off of Utah.
Well, actually, Karl Malone, when he got the ball to get ready to throw it out, and Sean Rooks had already stepped out of bounds, and the officials were standing right there and made a very good call. But they had a good play coming out of timeout with a touch pass, and Karl Malone tried to get the foul and just couldn't finish.
Utah is shooting 12%. Yes, 12%. The Lakers 46%.
And if I'm Bill Harris, I'm very nervous. When my team is shooting that like that, and we're only up 5. That's, you got to be quicker than that. I mean, you'll see there's no, the question is it coming down? It's not even close. You can see that's already started down. And anytime you're standing under the basket to come to block the shot, the majority of the times you end up getting that block as the ball is coming down.
Good call by Terry Durham. There's a foul, and it's on Karl Malone. No, they just changed it. He made it on the Lakers at first, and then
it's on Byron Scott. The official just, you're right. He pointed as what he was thinking was the Lakers' way, but it's Byron Scott who just threw. You'll get a chance to see just on the right. You'll see right there. Actually, Sean Rooks who just throws Jeff Hornacek down. He just picked up his 3rd foul on just was not a very, very good play at all.
Rooks has 3. O'Neal has 2. Elden Campbell with 2 fouls. And the son of a high school coach, Jeff Hornacek, hits it. And the Utah Jazz from the free throw line, 14 of 14. They have scored 14 points. Up there 19 at the free throw line tonight.
You score them wherever you can score them, Kevin. And they have just shown this is what a veteran team does. They figure out places to get points on the board. I don't like the energy of the Lakers. This is a game that you have virtually got to win. And I mean, I see the ball coming at like half tempo.
It's a must game.
You got to get it going.
Ori for 3. Rooks is there, not blocked out. A second try, and he gets it in.
That's the kind of effort you've got to have on every play. 2 or 3 extra efforts when your team that's down 2 at home.
Van Exel working on Stockton. Malone and Kersey. Karl Malone. He can't get it to go. He's 1 of 8 from the field. Foster fights inside. He somehow gets it, but can't get it in. And Kersey is there.
Yeah, good defense by the Lakers. They had 3 guys around him, and Foster just tried to get it up toward the basket.
Van Exel into Foster. What a play by Nick Van Exel.
That's aggressive. Now you start getting after, push the ball up.
Stockton, he tries to go coast to coast, and he's whacked pretty good once he entered the lane.
They're trying to get an intentional foul as you take a look at Van Exel going to the basket. going to the basket. Stockton does a good job of getting in position. They call him pretty much they call this a flagrant or technical?
Flagrant foul.
Flagrant foul. And I'll tell you why. The end of the play, he pulled him down. And now you don't have to do that. Now, Del Harris isn't happy. But the facts are, once you fouled him and he didn't get the ball to go to the basket, there's no need to foul him. But here's where it gets called for. See when he pulls him down? That's why he gets called for the flagrant.
Good camera work and a free throw made by Stockton to make it an 8-point Laker lead, 29-21.
You know what that play was? A little bit of it is frustration. A little bit of it is a team that is not known for its overall physical, aggressive play, trying to be aggressive and not knowing how to do it.
Stockton, corner set for three. That's going to be off, and a rebound corralled by Robert Orr. 1:05 to play in the first quarters. Lakers are shooting 50%. Utah, 10%. Orr. Good play. Scott for two. Well, they got Jazz players rebounding against themselves, and finally Stockton comes up with it.
Well, this is what they want to do because they can get you out running and make a lot of plays from here.
On the runner, Hornacek can't convert. Rooks gets it out. Knocked away Stockton. Picked up 3-on-2. It's Scott inside.
Offensive, no way.
Charge of Byron Scott. He's got two.
Yeah, I thought Bryon Russell was there. And Byron got up, and it got kind of lost in midair because I thought he was going to go straight up. Instead, he went for a layup-type move with a defender in his face, picking up the second foul.
Stockton with 1 point. Malone with 8, but 6 from the free throw line. So Malone is 1 of 8. Stockton 0 of 2. Hornacek 0 of 3. Utah 2 of 20 shooting from the field in the first quarter. Shot clock at 7. Kersey on Stockton. Russell has it on Ori. Shot clock at 2.
Oh, but they get it back.
A 3 by Stockton. Robert Ori is there. Time with which to work. Here comes Van Exel.
He likes these kind of moments where he can make moves, get up a shot.
Robert Ori for 3, beating the buzzer. And he can't get it to go. And we come to the close of the first quarter. Utah 2 of 22. But somehow breathing at the end of one. Lakers 29, Utah 21. Once again back at the Great Western Forum, a must-win for Los Angeles. Game 3 in the best-of-7 Western Conference semifinal. Del Harris and his Lakers down 2-0, and they come out with Shaquille O'Neal getting a couple fouls in the first 4 minutes. Utah, Quinn, didn't make their first shot in the first 4 minutes. They began 0 of 11, and they finished 2 of 22. Yet, remarkably, they trailed by just 8 at the end of one.
I mean, they're still in the game. The record, they set a record for a quarter in terms of lowest points in the playoffs. But they did it just last year. They only scored 4 against San Antonio in May, almost to the day last year. So they go through some droughts. But if you get to the foul line, you give yourself a chance.
We begin the second quarter with Karl Malone missing another shot. His 8th miss tonight. He's 1 of 9.
Tried to get a foul against Shaquille O'Neal, unfortunately for the Lakers. The officials did not go for the fake.
Shaquille O'Neal back in the game. Missed the final 6:47 of the first quarter because of foul trouble. Kobe Bryant, high school player out of Philadelphia.
And going to be a great player, getting some good experience here. They've got him playing the point guard. He's 6'8" and can get anywhere he needs to go. Russell
to Carr. First time Antoine Carr has come in the game, working on O'Neal. A miss. Utah 2 of 24. I've got to check myself every time I say it. I can't believe these numbers. Nice ball rotation. O'Neal had it, Carr had him, and a foul on Antoine Carr, fresh off the Jerry Sloan Utah bench.
Did a good job of getting the ball into the paint. Shaquille able to establish what he needs to get. They'll swing it around. You see Shaquille is just standing in the paint. When he's there, that's the only thing you can do to him is foul him, and preferably, well, it actually doesn't make any difference the way he's struggling from the foul line, but you don't want him to get in the act of shooting.
Great point. Manipulating his position will be key for Utah, keeping him away from where he's comfortable.
Well, yeah, see, Ostertag can do it a little bit better, but Ostertag doesn't want to get his third. Whoa! In the paint is not a thing you can do.
Lakers have their biggest lead of 10.
Jazz are going to their bench. They have Morris, Anderson, and as well as Antoine Carr. They've got to get some numbers as Horry just picks up. Or they give Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant the foul.
It's a flagrant foul. Kobe Bryant, he takes a shot. Stockton does a little bit of the acting job, but because the forearm goes under the chin, the officials call that a flagrant foul. Easy for you to say, Fred.
But difficult to take for the Los Angeles Lakers, because that's a second flagrant foul on that team tonight. I got it out, but I hesitated. Did you hear me?
Darren Harris trying to figure out what's going on, but because they get the ball back, so very easily they could be from 10 down to 6 here in no time.
He was one honest judge trapped in a world of lies. Tom Selleck stars in the TNT original movie Broken Trust. Coming up Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. Utah missing another inside chance. Scott is on the fly. 34-year-old Byron Scott fouled by 34-year-old John Stockton.
This goes to show you that 34-year-olds can still get out here and do something. Stockton as doable as they come.
He's got 2.
Yeah, they can always go to Isley and get what they need to get out of Isley, should that be the case. Stockton is also good enough to play, and I mean good enough mentally to keep himself out of foul trouble, able to play with big numbers.
No one in double figures so far. A foul away from the ball. Boy, they're calling this tight tonight. It's inside. It's on Carr. He's off the bench now with 2 quick fouls. And Jerry Sloan has Ostertag with 2, and now Carr with 2.
Well, they're going to bang. Officials will call it close. Now Carr has to be smart. We'll see if his playoff experience comes to fruition.
Just a second off the shot clock and 10:16 to play in the second quarter.
Since John Stockton is trying to put some pressure on Kobe Bryant out front, because once Kobe gets going the way he likes to go, he can change directions. Really good at changing directions and making things happen.
Anderson the foul. They're working on the veteran Byron Scott.
More importantly, that's 14 fouls so far with less than 2 minutes gone.
There have been 26 fouls called in a little more than a quarter in this game. 26.
Hey, well, we said they're coming in. The officials are going to they'll call it close.
They're clairvoyant.
Well, no, I've just seen enough of these playoff environments or any environment like this where the officials have got to take control.
Elden Campbell. Ostertag the rebound, and again, Shaquille did not press the issue. Utah has missed their last 11 shots. Carr to Stockton. 11 straight misses by the Jazz. Ostertag trying to find it. O'Neal does get it. With that bulky brace on his left knee, he goes trudging the other way. Kobe Bryant working and taking inside. Campbell.
That's what the Lakers missed. Somebody that can break the defense down and give someone else a chance to make plays in the half court. They have some in the full court, but in a half court setting, you got to get some easy shots for your big people.
12 consecutive misses now for the Utah Jazz. Carr trying to break the drought, and he does.
Off the block, which I think that Antoine Carr has to do with Elden Campbell. You need to get off the block. Campbell's a good enough shot blocker. He can get to those on the block.
Utah, 3 of 27. O'Neal, he's got 6.
Oh, he was over the back, too.
Ostertag with another rebound around O'Neal. He's got 4, Ostertag does. Here comes Stockton. Carr, he just hit from one side. He can't hit from the other. Rebound Campbell.
They are loading up on the bricks on the Jazz.
They're 3 of 28. And mercifully a timeout. Unbelievable. Utah close though, trailing 33-25.
The Lakers have been able to get themselves going, as you can tell, because they've been able to contest shots. The Jazz have missed some, but you can see almost every shot that they've taken has been one with a hand in their face. Boy, they have really picked it up, and then the Lakers have just done a very good job pushing the ball on the other side. Let's say, hey, Scott, they can make a shot, can't they?
Well, I don't see why they couldn't. I went out on the court just to check on this hoop down here, because I know Jerry Sloan's pretty upset. picture. There's no plexiglass. There's no netting. It should work.
Well, I'm sure hoping that Jerry Sloan has figured out something. I'm sure Jazz fans are hoping at least.
Yeah, and even though they've had 2 stretches of at least 11 misses, they trail 33-25. They're still very much within striking range. That's out of bounds off Los Angeles.
That was Kobe Bryant trying to make a great play when in the playoffs you need to make good plays. And good plays, the difference between good play and great play is the margin of error. If you miss a great play, you probably are going to hurt yourself. A good play, you're in good position.
Spoken like a guy who played for Bobby Knight.
I did, but I played for some other people.
I know you did.
Tough shot.
Chris Morris, Ostertag tried to volleyball it in. He couldn't get it to go. Out of bounds goes Bryant. It's off of Utah. The Lakers will inbound with 7:52 in the half.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant is giving them a little bit of energy. I mean, he's kind of the fan favorite here is Kobe Bryant.
Karl Malone will set the check back in. The Lakers with Eddie Jones, Kobe Bryant the rookie, O'Neal, Kersey, and Elden Campbell. Ostertag, Stockton, Anderson, Morris, and Carr. They're knocked away and a foul.
Oh, they just called on Shaquille.
He's got 3.
Yeah, he picked up his 3rd foul. Ostertag had him in there, and they called him for swinging his arm. He's picked up his 3rd foul. He tries to get position inside. Now watch, an arm flails, and Ostertag does a good job of faking and bringing it to the official's attention. A little frustration seems to be on Shaquille O'Neal's face. He is in right now with 3 fouls. If I'm the Jazz and the point guard, I try to work on him to get his 4th.
Russell, Carr, Anderson to Hornacek. Shot clock at 10. Drawing the double. There's Malone. Bumped by Kersey out to Anderson. Nice touch pass. Great ball rotation to Russell. He can't get it to go. They're 3 of 31. Jerome Kersey.
Good smart play by Kobe Bryant after they got it. They had the lob with Shaquille because he had to jump out at the shooter to Anderson. Anderson had an opportunity to put it down, but the Lakers still doing what they have to do.
Karl Malone is 1 of 9. 1 of 10. Carr off his hands, off Utah. The Lakers get it back. Karl Malone has gone 1 of 10. Utah 3 of 32. 9% shooting for the Jazz. They trail by 10.
Saturday night basketball, Adelaide versus Canberra. The NBL tonight, 9 o'clock, only on Fox Sports.
There's some reasons that the Jazz are shooting just 9%. I mean, anyway, here's what the Jazz are doing. They're just missing open shots. You take a look right here. Here's Elden Campbell. Just watch him. He runs out at the ball. Karl Malone is wide open. I mean, Shaquille is coming, but that's not a whole lot he can do. They just cannot get shots to go down, and then Antoine Carr misses it and loses it out of bounds.
Del Harris, the Laker coach, today told our TNT crew there hasn't been a must-win all season. Tonight, he labeled a must-win for his Lakers, who lead by 10.
Yeah, well, because they had the circumstance when they played against Portland where all they had to do was win 1 after winning 2, and then they lose the 3rd game. They've not had a circumstance that all but eliminates them emotionally, and that's what he's worried about because he's got such a young team that Jeff Hornacek steps up and drills a 3.
The second three-point shot hit by the Utah Jazz. 35-28 the Lakers. Bryant for 3. The rookie can't hit. Rebound inside. Rookie Shandon Anderson out of Georgia.
Better get there. Oh.
Hornacek by some defenders into Carr. Out to Russell and up to Anderson for 3. Kersey there.
Had good ball movement. Dale's going a long time with Kobe Bryant, and that's why. See, Kobe is good enough. He's 6'8", but he's good enough that he can get down low. And Antoine picks up his 3rd foul, but Kobe Bryant calls it because he can handle the ball.
3 on Carr, as you said.
Right there, Elden tries to go set a little bit of a pick, but Kobe Bryant, with that great ability to handle the ball, still a young man. Father, of course, as most people know, played in the NBA. Joe Jellybean Bryant played in Italy. Bryant speaks fluent Italian.
He had the grades to go to college, but he was so good, he was advised by pro scouts, hey, you can be a lottery pick if you go. I mean, he wasn't quite a lottery pick, but he was a high pick, and he comes to a place where he's been allowed to thrive and go slowly.
And that's the most important thing. And I don't think Dale Harris intended to bring him along as quickly as he is necessarily in this game. Being in these minutes at this time is not something he wanted. I think he's forced to it because he needs somebody a little bigger to try to control Stockton.
Russell for three. Can't hit. Foul called. It's on Kersey of Los Angeles. That's the second on Jerome Kersey. Well, the NBA playoffs continue tomorrow night right here on TNT with another doubleheader. At 8 p.m. Eastern, it's the Heat and the Knicks, game 2 there. And at 10:30 Eastern, it's the Rockets and Sonics, game 3. That series tied at 1 apiece. That's followed by Inside the NBA with Vince Cellini.
You had two teams win on the road. I mean, for the Sonics, it was a heck of a game for them to win. They changed the strategy on Matt Malone and doubled him to get the ball out of his hands. And they got back to a little bit more Sonic basketball where they're a little less predictable.
And they started Sam Perkins, and he was a nice effect offensively for the Sonics.
Defensively on the team, he was very good as well.
Malone, he's 1 of 10. He's 1 of 11.
Yeah, that one had no chance. I'm looking to see was the basket moving.
He hasn't hit a shot here in the second quarter. 5:05 to play. Campbell.
The fans are glad to see that, given he's averaging 6 points a game against Utah.
Well, the Lakers have their biggest lead of 11 points. Utah has never led. They've gone 4 of 37 from the field. Stockton knocked down again. And a foul called on Kersey. He's got 3.
Oh, you like that? And I'm a guard. Very nice. Very nice. And Scott was closer to the basket than I. Well,
Stockton.
I think at this point the Jazz would use all the help they could get, but they'd be real desperate if they took either one of us.
There's a foul. Foster picks it up, setting the screen. Bryant goes down. That's the first foul on Gref Foster. 4.5 to play in the half. Lakers by 11.
As a player, you're playing games like this, it's really hard to find a rhythm. You know, between the foul calls, the missing shots, as we take a look at Kobe Bryant, it's hard to find, you know, because you get into a flow, and I don't know, at this point, the Jazz haven't been able to get to one, and the Lakers haven't done much better, but they still have a lead.
Robert Horry is back in. Here comes Van Exel over Stockton.
I'm going to tell you what that shot was. He was thieving having to be on the bench that long while Kobe Bryant was on the bench and came in looking for a place to basically get active and show the coach you're wrong by keeping me on the floor.
4 to play in the first half. Wild pass by Hornacek. Stolen by Van Exel. Here come the Los Angeles Lakers with the 3-on-4. Van Exel. What a shot by Van Exel.
Yeah, so you can see it made up their mind. They want to get active. Nick was, now he's ready to go.
The Lakers on an 8-0 run over the last 3 minutes. They built their lead 43 to 28, and Nick Van Exel is on fire. 10 points. The Lakers in a must-win situation, leading game 3 by 15. Utah shooting 11% from the field. They had 2 hits in the first quarter, 2 hits in the second quarter. There you see the Rockets in the Western Conference. Seattle starting Perkins. A good job on Olajuwon, tying that series at a game apiece to now go up to Seattle. They will play in Key Arena. And there's Shaquille O Neal on the bench with 3 fouls. Of course, in this series, it's Utah 2 games to none on the Lakers. And as we said before, a must game for Los Angeles. Stockton on the fly, can't hit.
And Stockton.
John Stockton has 3. He's gone 0 of 5 as we check in with Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. That last time out, Jerry Sloan trying to keep the troops patient. He said, listen, you're still in this basketball game, and you're shooting less than 10%. Play in small skirmishes, basically. He wants you just taking small goals, get this thing down below 10. We'll come out and shoot the ball better in the second half.
And I think that's the great point, because right now, I mean, you're looking at it, even if he makes it, you need 8 points to get it down below 10, and that you can do in 3.5 minutes. Even though Stockton's going to the bench, you still have Malone on the floor. Hornacek can go for you. So Stockton having 3 fouls.
Jones hits the free throw. Well, the Lakers season thought maybe it had taken a turn for the worse with the loss a couple nights ago. Now Los Angeles must win 4 of 5 from Utah, who are 5-1 against the Lakers this year. Inside, Malone can't hit. 10-0 run by Los Angeles, and that may be stopped with Karl Malone at the free throw line.
Those numbers, 4 out of 5, all that's, you know, at that point, that's real. But here's what's absolute. You can only win one at a time, and you can only approach it that way. And if you start worrying about what's on the other side of tonight's game, you very easily could be getting ready to go home.
Malone is 6 of 6 from the free throw line, and 1 of 11 from the field. Sean Brooks sets the check back in. And Malone hits his first. Father of 2 daughters and a son, Carl Jr., married to the former Miss Idaho. As Campbell takes a seat.
Not to mention he has a motorcycle, there's a trucking firm,
cattle ranch in Arkansas.
Oh yeah, he's into all of the outdoor life that you can be into.
Grew up one of 9 children down in Louisiana. Gives a lot of credit to his mother. His dad died when he was 3 years old, and his mom raised those 9 kids. And they did a great job with old Carl. As you see, Atlanta with a huge win over Chicago tonight, 103-95. Atlanta in game 1 led by 16. Chicago came back to win that one. That series is tied at 1 game apiece.
Atlanta also had an opportunity, and very much like it's going on in the other place, because Sean Brooks drilled a shot. Mookie Blaylock felt that Michael Jordan pushed him out of bounds when he had a chance. They didn't get that, but obviously having played that close game, they felt like they had a good chance against the Bulls and pulled out a good one this evening.
Howard Isley working on Van Exel into Malone, picked up by Rooks. Shot clock at 9. Hornacek and Scott. Russell and Jones. Russell flies inside. What a move by Bryon Russell.
Yeah, the only shot blocker on the floor is Ori. When you have Shaquille O'Neal, Ori, and Elden Campbell, you have 3 shot blockers. One of the top shot blocking crew. As a matter of fact, the best shot blocking team in the NBA.
Van Exel for 3. He's been hot in the second quarter, but Malone gobbles up the rebound. He has 7.
Got a lot more energy players. Adam Keefe, who hadn't been getting a lot of minutes at all, is on the floor.
He's from this Los Angeles area. Isley, Russell, Malone, Isley, Keefe, and fouled by Robert Horry.
That was outstanding ball movement, though. You got 7 seconds on the shot clock, so they used up just about all of the shot clock to get to that particular position.
Coming up with the Nike halftime report, Ernie Johnson is joined by Reggie Theus and special guest Dominique Wilkins. So great to have Dominique in studio. They'll have all the highlights from the Hawks and the Bulls, as well as NBA notes. Scottie Pippen lays into his teammates, part of the many headlines coming up on the Nike halftime report. I'll tell you, you take the scoring of Theus and Wilkins, you've got some firepower.
You can take their score. I think one thing you take, they will get their share of shots. Both of them.
Keefe again.
Dominique Wilkins at the San Antonio Spurs came and did a very good job for them, though they lost David Robinson.
He did a great job, and he has diversified his game. And one of the real crimes, I think, is that he was not included in the top 50 players.
Yeah, Dominique was definitely the human highlight for him.
Unbelievable athlete and a very solid guy. Very nice man. Van Exel. He's missed 2 in a row after hitting a couple in a row. And Malone is there with another rebound. And here comes Howard Isley from Boston College. Second round pick by Minnesota. Let go. Utah. What a move by Karl Malone. He still can't get it to go.
He got pushed and couldn't explode off the ground. But all Karl Malone did was show the ball like he was going to hand it to Howard Isley. And because there are 3 fouls already on Sean Rooks, watch, like he was going, Sean Rooks steps out, and then just a smart job there by Van Exel to make sure that Malone can't finish it. Malone knows that's an easy hoop. He should have put that one in the basket, looking to complete a 3-point play.
Malone has not missed a free throw
until now. It invariably happens.
He is one of. Do you think he has ever started a game 1 of 11 from the field like he has tonight?
No, I'm sure he has. I think the difference now is that he's mature enough that he can keep playing and score in other ways, get himself to the foul line and not let that bother him. But Karl has said he does not feel that he is in his rhythm. He's averaging over 30 points in the series, and I think that's a pretty darn good statement. He says, I don't feel like I'm in the flow. I don't know what kind of flow he wants to get in, but if he does, boy, he will load up.
Said after the All-Star break, he was shooting and playing his best basketball ever, out of bounds and off of Los Angeles with a minute and a half to play in the half, and it is 47-34, the Lakers.
Yeah, and the Lakers are holding on to this lead. They're not exactly playing aggressively. I mean, they're throwing it away.
Which has been the biggest surprise to you in the first half. Along with the poor shooting, that they haven't come out with more fire in their eyes.
Yeah, but they've been able to keep themselves, up in this game, which is the big surprise to me.
Byron Scott thought about 3 maneuvers. Keith got in the way and shoved him and fouled him.
Byron Scott was open on the fast break. And you see the Jazz making all kinds of uncharacteristic plays. But I think on that particular play, that was just a little smarter Byron Scott there than Adam Keith.
Well, with Eddie Jones not hitting in game 2, they called upon Byron Scott. He got in early and he answered the bell. And up until that game 2, he was not very effective.
No, he didn't get a lot of minutes. Eddie Jones, the second leading scorer on this team. So you stay with people like that. But again, Dale Harris has made a decision that if you got some people, then he's got there Shaquille obviously with some foul trouble. If you got people that are not producing for whatever reason, you move them out. But you can also get, in this circumstance, they got a small lineup. They moved Eddie Jones to play the 3 spot. Byron Scott is a 2. You got a small active lineup that can shoot if they can get around Sean Brooks down on the block.
That's the time remaining in the first quarter as Isley is taking his time. Utah just trying to keep breathing getting out of this half. Malone, 1 of 13 from the field. Russ. Van Exel, 35 seconds to play.
And Fisher's doing a good job with a no call. Malone tried to draw a foul there.
Out of bounds, thrown away as Eddie Jones got tangled up with Isley.
Yeah, he did. But Van Exel also was about to lose the ball out of bounds, so he had to make a difficult pass, and that's why it didn't get to the receiver, Eddie Jones. Again, Lakers do not look in sync, but yet have a 15-point lead. They have to be pretty impressed with this whole thing.
Difference of 3 seconds, game clock and the shot clock.
They like to run up, set a pick on this.
You called it. There's the pick, and here's Isley. The mismatch against Orion for 3. Isley
got a chance.
Keith puts it up and off. Tapped up and in by Keith.
Nick the quick.
Good if it goes.
That would have been an emotional lift that they need going into the locker room, because as you look at them, they still do not look like a team that feels comfortable where they are, rightfully so, when you have a team shoot as poorly as the Jazz have.
So Utah has 2 stretches of 11 misses. They finished 6 of 44. Shaquille O'Neal with 3 fouls.
I mean, they've been a veteran team, but at some point you've got to start making shots. You're not going to be able to stay in the game, by just getting to the foul line. And at this point, you got to start scoring and keeping them from scoring. So the combination is this. The Lakers have to come and play really enthusiastic and try to get as much out of Shaquille as they can while they've got him on the floor.
Well, I'm sure there are very interesting conversations in both locker rooms. And here we go, starting our second half. Ostertag and Ori tangling up inside. A foul called on the Los Angeles Lakers and Robert Ori. He's got 2.
So you come out of the halftime, and the Jazz get exactly what they want. They get a foul on someone. They parade back to the foul line. Give this older team, if you will, a little bit more of a break. They don't have to run when they stay on the foul line.
Quinn, going into this series, the question was, is Ostertag's ability to challenge O'Neal the key? Out through 2.5 games, what do you think? Is that the key to this series?
I think what's been as much the key is not only Ostertag's ability to be in position, because I don't think one man in this league can stop Shaquille O'Neal. Great offensive players, that's not going to happen. But the Jazz as a team, their team defense has been very solid, coming quickly on the double team and then rotating to the proper man.
Shaquille O'Neal has played the first half in foul trouble, had 3. Got his 3rd in that second quarter. Here's O'Neal, quickly doubled by Hornacek and Ostertag. Snapping it back to Ori, back into the double team to O'Neal. He got it to go! Shaquille O'Neal.
They got a repost. You get it. If you don't have anything, throw it back, and then his teammates have to have enough confidence in Shaquille to throw the ball back to him and let him get it. He'll get it, and watch, he'll get it and just be a little patient. Now he throws it and just try to reestablish position, and he just has Ostertag trying to recover. He makes the shot and the foul shot.
I can't help but think they didn't give that Laker offense some rhythm and some tempo, too. Back and forth, back and forth.
It definitely does, but it gives Shaquille also better position so he can get into the paint.
Stockton tries to maneuver out of trouble and finally gets free and then takes it right back down the throat. Hornacek with the runner. Oh, he hits a nice shot on the fly.
What was that? What? When you go from not making any baskets to making one like that.
Eddie Jones. That was a pretty play.
Well, that's the Lakers. That's what they can do with these young guys, especially with Eddie Jones. And that's one of the reasons he has not been quite as effective. He hasn't been allowed to run. You see the season's average as compared to the series against Portland. Game 1, 17 had none. Just an awful night. 0 for 3 for shooting. Had 5 assists, 2 rebounds, but just could not get in the floor. Getting him up and down the floor helps.
8 points tonight, 2 rebounds for Eddie Jones. Stockton. Outside, Hornacek hits, and so Utah going counter to what we saw in the first half of their shooting.
The law of averages catch up with at some point. They really do. I mean, that's why they're averages, for the good and the bad.
O'Neal saw an opening there because he had single coverage with Ostertag, but he missed nonetheless, and it's picked up by Karl Malone. Stockton. Malone can't hit. Still can't hit. Rebound by Ori. Malone is 1 of 15 from the field. There's a travel on the Lakers.
Yeah, because Stockton got in position. Point guards, one of the tough things to do is Karl Malone is struggling now, 1 of, I believe, 14 inside. You have to turn and find the defense before you turn to run. Van Exel tried to do both and got called for the travel as Stockton stepped in his way.
Minute and a half gone. Here's another wide open jump shot for Jeff Hornacek. He is now hit 2 of 3 to begin this half. 4 of 8, 16 points.
They ran a little decoy offense. They act as though they post Malone on the strong side and the weak side. With Shaquille, you can run off the screen because Shaquille won't step up. And that's how Hornacek got the shot. Timeout. Good effort.
It's a 20-second timeout. You take a look at Jerry Sloan. I can't help but think, Quinn, that these coaches, especially in playoff basketball, really earn their money when adjustments need to be made after a half. But right now seems to me to be a very important time in this game.
Well, at the start of the third quarter is always an important time. I'm not sure how many adjustments that Jerry Sloan had to make. What he had to do was tell his team, we'll make some shots.
To Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. Spoke with Del Harris at halftime about his concerns. He held Utah, obviously, to 14% shooting. He said, but this game is not over. We should have, if you look at the stats, only turned the ball over 6 times. We should have a 20-point lead. He is concerned, and as you saw by that quick talking about by Utah, he thinks that they still got a chance to win this game.
That goes back to what Quinn was saying in the first half. He said this is a game that they should come out with unbelievable emotion and passion, and you just didn't see it.
No, not only the passion, they didn't have the it's this passion and purpose, and they didn't seem to have either one, but were able to get a lead.
Because this game has been labeled a must game by Del Harris. It's turned over by Utah, some pretty stingy defense by the Lakers, and Eddie Jones trying to work on Hornacek.
Now this is an aggressive Eddie Jones. He wants to take him off the grip.
Little isolation for a 3. O'Neal will not be outdone by Ostertag. Van Exel. O'Neal.
It's offensive.
And a foul, number 4 on Shaquille O'Neal with 9:30 to play in the third.
Yeah, that was offensive. The right idea was there with Shaquille. But now he's picked up his 4th. And with the right idea means Van Exel getting to the basket. Van Exel draws Ostertag, who does a good job positioning, and then gets back. Shaquille O'Neal goes up strong, but gets called for the offensive foul.
And it was about this time in game 2 a couple nights ago where O'Neal picked up his 4th, and the Lakers really held their own, stayed very competitive without O'Neal on the floor. Ostertag from outside, O'Neal the rebound.
Well, they can't plan on doing that very often. Not against any team, not a playoff team can you plan to be without a guy that averages 27 points a game during the regular season.
A travel on Eddie Jones. O'Neal does stay in the game, although they make one substitution. That's Byron Scott, and he'll take the place of O'Neal. Yeah.
They'll go small and have to take Shaquille out. Shaq having trouble staying in the game. because the Jazz do a good job of trying to put pressure on him. Bryon Russell takes the ball to the basket strong there. A little fake from Ostertag, a little shove, and then just a bad foul on that one. And those bad fouls eventually cost you. Shaquille trying to go through Ostertag, picks up his fourth.
Now back to live action. Hornacek from 15 nails it. He's hit 3 of 4 coming out of halftime. And the Jazz to within 10.
Yeah, and the Jazz have the rhythm. They have an offensive flow, and Dale Harris knows it, and he's taking a timeout to try to reorganize his basketball team.
22nd timeout taken by the Lakers. So Dale Harris has done a couple interesting things here. He has taken O'Neal out because he has to. He has the 4 personal fouls. He has brought in Byron Scott, but now he suddenly faces a very hot shooting Utah team. The NBA playoffs continue tomorrow night right here on TNT with another doubleheader. 8 o'clock Eastern, it's the Heat and the Knicks. Game 2. And people shocked about the Knicks win down in Miami in Game 1. Then at 10:30 Eastern, it's the Rockets and Sonics in Game 3. That series tied at 1 win apiece. And it's followed by Inside the NBA with virtual Vince Chilina. As you take a look at, well, there was Diane Cannon in there someplace, and then next to her was Magic Johnson through most of the first half. There she is.
I don't think
Magic was right next to her just a second.
Yeah, you've been out finding the stars. I've been trying.
Well, I've been invited to a few post-game parties. I must be honest with you. Here's Campbell into Ostertag.
Offensive. Oh, they gave him
travel.
I'm sorry, but there's no doubt. But that's what Ostertag brings to this team. They had Felton Spencer, who played the position. Defensively, didn't have the same mobility. Ostertag positions himself well, and that's one of the reasons the Jazz think they have a better chance to win the championship this year than they've ever had before.
Utah's on a 6-0 run. Malone is 1 of 15, but he works on Ori. And he dumps it out to Russell for 3 in the miss. It's Los Angeles out of the fray. Here comes Scott, feeding to Van Exel. Touch pass, Scott to Kersey. Rebound Malone. That's where he has held him. He's got 10 rebounds tonight on his 11 points. Double-double.
He's been able to keep himself involved. Hornacek is hot. This is a man that's in the zone. He's in that rare air.
He's gone 5 of 6 since halftime.
Yeah, he's come out looking for shots, and he can make shots off balance, give his team an offensive lift, and carry it until Malone starts to come along.
Campbell remains ineffective. Picked up by Russell. Momentum has switched out completely to Utah early in the third. Stockton.
Tough shot. Tried to take a runner.
Lakers need some points and some ignition. Can they get it from Van Exel?
Oh, good
Kersey. He missed the jam. Picked up by Utah. Stockton with it. 2-on-1 and a foul called on Ori.
I have seen Nick Van Exel twice attack his team because they have not made plays. He gets mad at Robert Ori because he didn't finish, and I'm sure it's out of frustration because it's well timed to get him right there, and Kersey just throws it to the back of the rim, and you can see Nick Van Exel right there with that reaction saying you've got to make that, and he did the same thing to Eddie Jones when he had a mismatch out front and didn't take it to the basket.
Screen by Ostertag. Scott fought through it. Hornacek at 2. He's gone 6 of 7. Hornacek has gone mad. And he is caught. He's brought Utah to within a 6-point reach of the Los Angeles Lakers. 55-49 Los Angeles halfway through the third quarter. Field. The Jazz have gone 6 of 11 to begin this second half. And the Lakers, when they could have put Utah out, Quinn didn't, and they let him hang around, and Jerry Sloan got his troops ready, and they've come out to within 6 to begin the second half.
They've gotten off to a good start. They've scored as many baskets in this first few minutes here, 6 minutes, than they did the entire first half. And they had Jeff Hornacek. They've been able to find him, and he's knocked down. He's on a 10-0 run by himself.
Robert Ori with the big basket for the Lakers, who needed something positive. They lead by 8. Malone. Up to Russell. Works around Kersey. There's Ostertag. He traveled with the ball. Utah has 7 turnovers.
Yeah, they've been able. They haven't turned it over much, and that's one of the things that kept them in. You know, in that first half, they lead the league in assists, as well as field goal percentage. But in assists, they had 3. They averaged 26 a game.
Kick it. Reset the 24-second shot clock. 6:10 third quarter. I'll look at our Chevy scoreboard. And Chicago tonight losing to Atlanta. Chicago had won 13 consecutive playoff games dating back to Game 6 of Orlando beating Chicago in Chicago in 1995. What a pass! Campbell got it inside, and a great feed from the perimeter in Scott.
Yeah, you got to break the defense down. I think that's what they need a lot more of Nick Van Exel if they can get it. But at this point, they'll take it wherever they can get it with the Lakers.
Kersey. And a foul on Karl Malone.
Miscue there. Bryon Russell and Stockton just didn't make the connection. They miss it, but you can feel the flow of the Forum moving back to the Lakers. Unbelievable. 2 turnovers in 96 minutes. Second turnover of the series. That's pretty strong.
Tough by Van Exel when he can't get that. Rebound, Russell. Here comes Utah. Howard Isley back in on the point. They got Ostertag, Russell, Malone, and Hornacek, who is on fire in this third quarter, 6 of 7.
I try to get Hornacek making the pass to Karl Malone.
Right there, you see it, but Karl Malone, 1 of 15, cannot buy a basket, but he is rebounding well. He's got 10, and he has 11 points.
You know, for young players, or as you play this game, the thing that you find out about the really good, really great players, if they don't score the natural way, one way, they figure out how to be effective for their teams in other ways. Karl Malone shoots as many foul shots as anybody in the league. What he's managed to do is keep himself in position to get fouled so he can keep some offense going for his team by virtue that they keep a little offensive flow even though they're still down by 9.
Malone in the regular season shot 60% against the Los Angeles Lakers. Tonight, well, 1 of 15. That pretty much spells it out where he is tonight. 5:18 to play here in the third.
But if the game gets close, he will still take the tough shot and very subject to make that shot. He has that kind of confidence.
Van Exel and Isley. Hornacek was knocked out. Thus Scott is free and goes down the lane. There was a great screen set on the wing, which sprung Scott.
But part of that, too, Kevin, is Scott made jump shots in the first in game 2. So everybody's coming out close to him. And when you do that, he can put it on the floor.
Screen by Ostertag. Hornacek free.
Oh!
It's it in!
He got fouled, too. Oh, and Ostertag is down on the ground, and it must look like he got poked in the eye. So they're playing 5-on-4. They need to foul him on the ground. I don't think anybody knows it.
Van Exel.
The Lakers don't even know it.
Van Exel and Isley makes the foul. That's the 4th on Isley.
Well, let's hope that that he's all right. But it looks like he's got his hand on his knee, and boy, that would be a tough blow for the Jazz. It definitely is his knee. The doctors and the trainers have it, and they're holding it. We'll get a chance to take a look at him. He's right there.
Working against Kersey.
Yeah, he just kind of stepped back on it. Looked like he hyperextended it. But at any rate, they have the trainers out looking at him to see that he's okay. He is in some pain. We'll take a look. He gets hit there, but he's able to still run. Because if he's able to still run, he's fine. What do you got? You got it?
They just took Greg Ostertag off the floor, holding onto a knee.
Yeah, but this part here, he gets hit, but he gets banged a little bit. But if he's still able to run, he's fine. It was a little bit after that where he became awkward,
right there,
trying to keep his balance. And then from there, he just went down. He's got that knee up. They tried to move it. They'll take it and try to move it back and forth. I didn't see him wince a lot, but he probably, I don't want to get medical here, given that I haven't given a chance to see that firsthand. In my medical school class, I wasn't very good.
You have been called doctor from time to time. Here's Foster checking in. 4.5 to play in the third. Hornacek has scored all of Utah's points. He's hit 7 in a row, 7 of 8 in the quarter. The Jazz down at halftime by 13, trail by 8. Now, make it 10.
And Scott has just been a load again for the Lakers, coming in to play and be really active. But he got the shot because he kept moving.
Isley, Hornacek, still can't get it to go. 1 of 16 from Malone. Unbelievable. Van Exel against Isley. Look out, here he flies in for 2.
Greg Ostertag makes a difference on that play with Van Exel because he's good at positioning. Foster's not a shot blocker. Smart play by Van Exel to take it to the basket.
So Foster replaces Ostertag. Malone, Hornacek, Isley, and Russell. The Utah 5. Isley replacing Stockton. Hornacek's been hot. He's at 7 in a row. Does he make it 8? He does!
I told you, he can get in the zone. He can get in the zone where he can make shots in traffic. He's as good as anybody. Both getting on a roll, but making shots in traffic. And that was a difficult shot. Byron Scott all over him.
Hornacek 8 of 9 in this quarter. Van Exel with a nice spin move down the lane.
And if Jerry Sloan is going to Greg Foster telling him, you got to come off and help.
3 minutes to play in the third. Malone trying to get free. Isley shifting to the defense. Campbell on Malone. Karl is 1 of 17 shooting. Well, Saturday, our friends over at NBC have more NBA action. It's a doubleheader. First at 1 Eastern, it's Game 3 of the Bulls and the Hawks, now tied at 1 apiece. Then at 3:30 Eastern, it's Game 4 of the Jazz and Lakers. And don't forget, it's all underway with Showtime at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday on NBC.
They had a substitution. They brought Keith in for Foster because he didn't come over and help out on Nick Van Exel.
Russell right by Van Exel. Ory coming up big, climbing the ladder for the rebound.
I tried to find Byron Scott.
Look out. Van Exel called a timeout.
I don't think there's any chance he had that on the way out.
Well, doesn't matter what you think. He called a timeout.
But as an opinion, I'm allowed to give. Yes. I did not agree with that one. It looked like Van Exel, the ball was, it looked like he was trying to capture it.
He's yelling timeout.
Timeout. He doesn't have the ball in order to call timeout. He called timeout before he had possession.
Good observation.
Bitchin', excellent, sick, wasted, ripping, gnarly, far out, wicked, bogus, cosmic, filth, dude, chopping, sword, extreme, violent, bad, hanging, bad, busted, out there, insane, hello, hip, ripping, goosing, tripping, tit, rules, radical, sweet, digging.
Sport is attitude. Get a rush weekdays 3:30 Fox Sports.
Lakers by 12 with an Ostertag injury report to Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm back here by the Utah Jazz locker room. Team doctor's in with Greg Ostertag as we speak. They don't think he tore anything and that it's nothing more than a slight sprain. They're going to ice his knee, let it set for a while, and see if he can maybe get up and walk on it. Kim Turner, public relations director for the Utah Jazz, said you may see him in the fourth quarter, but right now they don't think it's anything serious, but they are going to ice the knee and see how it responds to that.
So no Ostertag, at least for this quarter, maybe longer, and no Shaquille O'Neal, who Quinn picked up his 4th foul about 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, obviously it's a bigger problem for the Lakers than it is for the Jazz, but I think Ostertag is a big part of them controlling the middle.
Campbell. Malone, out of bounds, off of Utah.
That's a good call. Jerry Sloan's right on top of that call. Karl Malone tried to not touch the ball, and sometimes you don't touch it to make it look as though the other team hit it out, but there were 3 Jazz, and Karl Malone was the last, I think, to touch the ball.
2:17 in the third quarter. Game 3, Western Conference semifinals. Rebound by Russell. Boy, did he get hot.
Well, he got up, and then he went up a little bit higher after he caught it.
Here comes Isley.
Too easy.
Into Malone, and 1 of 18 for Karl Malone.
You know, it looks almost like Karl Malone is as concerned about getting to the foul line, and maybe more so concentrating on that than finishing baskets. And that's one of the reasons I think he's missed some shots.
Isley's got 5 fouls. He picks that one up.
And Stockton has 3. Van Exel taking advantage of his quickness, and you see Howard Isley.
1:55 here in the third quarter. So Utah had 2 stretches of 11 misses in the first half. They shot 14% for the first half. LA led by 17. Stockton was ineffective. He was 0 of 3. In this second half, Hornacek has scored all 8 Jazz field goals. He has gone 8 of 9 from the field and resuscitated what appeared to be a dead Utah ball club.
There's one thing to miss shots. There's another thing to not exert some effort. And I thought both teams lacked that in the first half. I'm not sure that the Jazz came to win a game today. I think they came to play a game. And I didn't see, and I talked about the Lakers, I didn't see the purpose that they needed to have. But they've been fortunate enough to have even Shaquille on the bench and still have a lead here of 13 points. I think they've been very, very fortunate.
The amazing thing is, as you pointed out in the beginning of the broadcast, as Adam Keefe hits his first, is it for the Lakers? Their coach said this is the most important game of the year for them. It's a must-win situation. Our team is down 2 games to none. We lose tonight, and the series is in dire straits, in real jeopardy.
Well, it's not only that. You've got a young team, and they don't make the young teams don't adjust well. Now, mind you, I don't think the expectations on this team were realistic. Shaquille O'Neal is a great player. There's no doubt about it. But you're talking about a team that has 4 players from last year. To try to take that and move it into the NBA Finals is a pretty difficult task. I don't care who you are.
Isley's got 5 fouls, and he's got to watch Van Exel hit a 2 and a fadeaway, and a beauty it was from Nick Van Exel. He is registered 17.
Got his own offense going, too. That's not the Laker offense. That's Nick's offense.
13-point lead for LA. They've led by 17. Utah, not surprisingly, has never led. Russell, Campbell, little mismatch here. Van Exel thinking he might double. There goes a driving Russell. A rebound by Travis Knight. Torn away by Russell. A fresh 24 for Utah. Under a minute to play in the third.
Isley needs to get the ball. This offense is at the point that you need someone that can get the ball and make plays. Hornacek can go because he can shoot it, but Isley can get to the basket.
Hornacek to Malone. Karl Malone finally hits just his second basket tonight.
And you got to watch him coming alive. If you missed as many shots as he's missed, there's still a good chance that he can go on a roll.
He is 2 of 19.
Doesn't do much for his field goal percentage, that's for sure.
Van Exel. 8 to shoot. He's got Russell again. Out to Scott. Shot clock at 3. Look at the speed of Scott. Oh, baby, what a play.
He makes a tough play. He's down. And they don't call an offensive foul. Oh, and the officials, they get a timeout. Or did he just hold it? The reason they don't call this, I believe, is because they think that Bryon Russell is standing too far under the basket. Byron Scott is still down.
And Utah will inbound. Scott is out of bounds. A 3. Hornacek just his second miss in this quarter. Out of bounds over the backboard. His body is on the floor. It's a little bit odd that they would resume play, but they did, and now 11 seconds remain in this third quarter.
The only reason that they stop in the professional game, if they want to stop, the Lakers have to stop it. The officials don't stop it necessarily because someone gets hurt. You see Byron takes the ball to the basket strongly, and he goes down, and you can see he has no chance to protect himself, can't get his arm down. His shoulder looks like the first thing to hit it, but he's moving around a little bit, and it looks as though he's probably all right. You see, Byron Scott is there, and he goes down. So he's down there, and that's Gary Vitti standing over the top talking to him. So the Lakers have just taken a full timeout because what they tried to do was delay the game to see if Byron Scott was going to get up, and when he didn't get up, the officials let him play, but they've since taken a full timeout.
That voice you heard was Dick Bavetta, who is one of the most highly regarded referees in the history of professional basketball, and the guy who just came over and has a relationship that the broadcast business has with these referees, and there is Byron Scott's wife, and Byron is still down.
Yeah, but I think he's all right. I mean, it may be sore. It'll be sore tomorrow. I can assure you of that. But he's not in a position that where I think we all thought he was initially, where it looked as though he'd have to come off on a stretcher. So he's he's obviously been able to get through that. You can see they're talking to him. He's aware.
Anita, his wife, watching from just off the baseline. You know, there's Gary Beatty, too, the trainer for the Lakers.
They're looking at a little bit. They're looking at his wrist. I mean, it doesn't look like as much his shoulder as it is his wrist. And they've got the doctor over there. Dr. Lombardo is one of the doctors standing there. And Gary Beatty talking to Larry Drew, the assistant coach right there in the dark suit. And I think they're going to take him in and probably have it x-rayed just to be sure that nothing's happened.
Well, if you got to go out of the game, what a great way to go out with one of the most spectacular plays we have seen tonight as his wife, Anita, follows him into the locker room.
Took it to the hole strong.
Wow, and so quick, too. Quick. The guy is 34 years old.
You know what he's done, though? He's done what most guys, when they get past their 30s, do if they stay in the game until they're 34. He's taking very good care of his body. He lifts weights. And he's said to, you know, and he knows that if he'd have done what he's doing now when he was at 24, he'd probably be able to play a few more years.
Final seconds of the third quarter. And what a third quarter it's been. Van Exel doubled. Kobe Bryant, good if it goes. He can't get it to drop. So we've come to the close of three. The star, Jeff Hornacek, taking center stage. 8 of 10 from the field in the quarter. 16 points. He keeps Utah alive. Go down 72-59. Game 3, best of 7 Western Conference semifinals. The Lakers lead 72-59. A myriad of stars here as Denzel Washington joins a host of other celebrities watching Shaquille O Neal take it hard here in the fourth. And Elden Campbell cleans up the miss, and the Lakers lead it 74-59.
And the Lakers are doing a much better job than they did in the first 2 games of cleaning up those kinds of opportunities. The Jazz got to all of those, I thought, or the majority in games 1 and 2. The Lakers obviously are making a concerted effort here in game 3 to do that.
Malone over O'Neal. 2 of 20 shooting for Karl Malone.
That's the first time I've seen him react to the fact that he hasn't made a shot. Wentz as though he can't believe that didn't go in.
Has to be one of his first shooting nights. What a pass to Campbell. What a pass to Campbell from Shaquille O'Neal.
That's one of the things Shaquille O'Neal has, an area that he can improve in. Everybody has areas to improve. That's one. Getting scores out of the double team for the Lakers.
Now the Lakers are coming out of this fourth quarter. Is a good sign, probably something that Del Harris needed to see. A little bit of fire now in this ball club. Needing a win tonight, down 2 games tonight. Russell for 3. Corie, another rebound. Great pass to Campbell. Here comes Los Angeles. Kobe Bryant, who only played 4 minutes in game 2, and who tonight has played 13 minutes. O'Neal, another good pass. This time Bryant, and he's fouled by the Utah Jazz.
Actually, that was great hand. The pass was a tough pass. You got 7 out of 10 people that can't handle that kind of pass. But Shaquille has got to be good out of the double team. So when he gets the ball, guys, first of all, have to move. You see Campbell cut. Shaquille goes up. As you see the traffic going down the middle, a mistake made by Russell, but a solid pass by Shaquille O'Neal, who made the last pass to Kobe Bryant, who I thought makes a better catch because Shaquille had it coming through there pretty good.
Well, the non-call in, as you see now, with 3 fouls, Malone on the bench. Byron Scott trotting at the top of your screen, back on the floor after being examined, and that really energizes this crowd. To Scott Hastings.
Guys, Byron Scott in there looked at team doctor holding that right wrist. He came out. I asked him how he's doing. He says, I don't know. We're going to go out there and try and see. But it is the right wrist. And he will play, though, this sometime in the fourth quarter.
And that is his shooting wrist.
It's his shooting wrist. He probably jammed it because he really tried to support his fall or break his fall with that. And he was able to come back and play it. They obviously feel comfortable that it's not broken.
Carr tries to bring out O'Neal and then charges at him. Here's Foster. Rebound by Carr.
He pushed off.
Yep, foul on Utah.
Yeah, he pushed Shaquille O'Neal.
Antoine Carr. He has got 4. Jerry Sloan, none too happy on that sideline.
Well, Jerry actually is a guy that, you know, will speak the truth. You generally see his reaction. I think he felt from the beginning that his team didn't have it. It didn't take him long to figure it out.
Bryant to the free throw line, fouled by Stockton, and he has 4. The momentum has changed changing in this fourth quarter. You can feel it.
This momentum is already the Lakers. Right? If it changes, then I think it'll go back to the Jazz. John Stockton's problem regarding Kobe Bryant is Kobe Bryant, even though he's big and handles the ball with long dribbles, can get down the short dribbles and can get there quickly. And that's what he just did to to John Stockton.
2 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter. Lakers by 20. Down by 21.
Yeah, it's got to feel good so far for this team, for the Laker team, but they can't afford to get lulled into any kind of false sense of security, because the Jazz can come back in some games like this, but I don't see them with the energy and making the kind of plays they need to make. They haven't done it all game.
Kobe Bryant draws the foul. The Los Angeles Lakers have started this fourth quarter with an 8-0 run and lead by 21. Now the Dutch boy in the paint statistics in that matchup, Karl Malone and Shaquille O'Neal. Now O'Neal has been plagued by foul problems. He's got 4. That's just 15 minutes.
Karl Malone is plagued by a basket that the lid won't come off of. He just can't buy a basket. And that's just been the sake of things for the Jazz. The Lakers have been able to get a little bit of production from everybody. Byron Scott gave him some good looks. Karl Malone just still looking to try to figure it out.
Here comes Carr. Got O'Neal out and drives into him. Rotation to Morris. Rebound by Ori. Quick outlet caught by Kobe Bryant. Eddie Jones. He's been quiet tonight, as he was game 2. And a foul called on Morris. You think about long-range shooting with the Lakers, and the Lakers, Quinn, in game 2 had 11 three-point shots. Tonight, they lead by 21. They haven't hit a single three-pointer all night long. As you see, Atlanta's earlier win tonight in Chicago over the Bulls. Lindsay Hunter will join Vince Cellini inside the NBA in virtual land. We are in La La Land. Bryant to Ori to O'Neal, and they pushed him out, so he has to go back outside to Bryant.
But that's when he's starting to get a lot smarter as Shaquille. Look at him.
Elbow! Robert Horry showed no mercy.
Yeah, that's where Shaquille is starting to be better. He knows the double team's coming, and the Lakers are doing a much better job of moving without the basketball. Had a little showtime with Bryant. And watch, get it in, there's Ori, and then cut to the basket, gets it back. Those are the kind of finishes I think you need to see more of Robert Ori. His foul shooting on an average has started to go down since he's been in the league, because I don't think he's stayed as aggressive taking the ball to the basket, relying on his three-point shooting.
Los Angeles on an 11-0 run to start the quarter. Utah has not scored in about 3 minutes. Morris out of bounds off the Jazz, and everything beginning to crumble now for Utah and Jerry Sloan, and for Los Angeles. They have seemed to hit their stride in this fourth quarter.
They caught a Jazz team, I think, that didn't come in here to win this game, and the Lakers have been able to get a little lead and then feed on it.
Bryant doesn't make it. They'll go to the free throw line.
But a part of what's happened here is the most aggressive team is the team that's getting the better end of any kind of doubt, benefit of the doubt, as you see Van Exel take a seat. And that most aggressive team has been the Lakers.
5 fouls on Carr, Kobe Bryant, who, like we said before, this saw just minimal minutes in game 2. He's got 7 points tonight, and he's in double figures in terms of minutes played. Look at the difference in the benches.
It's about 30-7. Obviously, the Lakers have been able to get some great scoring. They've got 5 guys who've scored. The Jazz won in spite of the fact that there was a 33-point scoring from the bench of the Lakers in game 2 and 17 for the Jazz. Because they were able to get better production from their starters. That's the reason they won that game.
You know, we keep talking about Utah. How they played so well in the third, and they did. They only trailed by 13 at the end of 3, but they're still only shooting 22% for the game.
If you're in the game shooting that, you're doing a heck of a job. You were talking about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's had 22 points in a playoff game already. I mean, he's a guy that gets up a shot almost every 2 minutes.
Shandon Anderson with a nice move on Jones. Rebound by Kersey. Ahead to Bryant. They got Jones, and he flies inside and can't get that to go.
He ran into Antoine Carr. I thought the officials were going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Wide open Carr. O'Neal was back at the other end.
So that's the one thing that happens with Shaquille. When they start playing and running up and down, it's hard for Shaquille to change ends.
Lakers have led by as many as 25. Utah has scored 2 points here in this fourth quarter. Bryant won't count it. Up and away. The foul called on Isley, and he is gone. So his 6th it is.
Yeah, that's it for him. They've got to put John Stockton back in the game, and I'm not sure this is something Jerry Sloan really wanted to do. At this point, realizing that they have little chance to get anything going, they prefer to keep Stockton on the bench.
So Isley has been a very credible backup for John Stockton. In fact, the Jazz really has very little drop-off. Stockton, one of the great guards in the history of the game, and a Hall of Famer to be. But with Isley, it's been a succession of other lesser-known backups. Eric Murdoch, Delaney Rudd, Jim West, John Crotty, and they have found a nice backup in Howard Isley.
I'm thinking about those names, and you know, it's like, yeah, he's a much better backup than those guys. No offense to those guys, but all of them, I'm sure, will say John Stockton. It's hard to find an equal with a guy who's the all-time assist and steal leader in the NBA. And those just don't come around very often.
Here's Stephen Howard, a 12th man on this team, like his coach. Jerry Sloan was a 12th man back for Baltimore in the 60s. And Stephen Howard will go to the free throw line as a 5th foul is tagged on Jerome Kersey. And Stephen Howard, an interesting story. Went overseas to get better. And he's such a diligent worker. As a 12th guy, I guess you've got to be on a team like Utah. And his wife has been known to bring him lunch at the practice facility, so he won't break his routine. She'll deliver the lunch, he stays there and continues to work, and she goes back home.
Yeah, graduated DePaul University in, I believe, computers and mathematics. A very strong mathematic background. He's a guy that's just really kind of tried to find a way in the league. And the Jazz have done a good job with their lower picks and non-draft play free agents.
Good point.
And getting guys who just fit into what they want to do. But the #1 rule for them is you've got to come prepared to work hard.
O'Neal, he'll work hard here for 2.
You know what was smart, though? They just gave him a technical foul. But it was smart because he just threw him out of the game. Because for kind of playing with the official. It was not anything ill-intended, but he put 2 points, 2 fingers up to say 2 points once, and the official called a technical, and then Shaquille did it again. And then here you are right now. The smart thing to do, he doesn't try to dunk it. He knows to go right up. Just take it easy. He's got size. Now watch him put his fingers up and to the official, and he goes the other way, and there's 1 technical, and then he does it again. To say, yeah, it's still it's still good, but he's got to get off the floor. And then he gets mad at Dick Bavetta.
There's a size difference there. O'Neal over 300 pounds.
No, he's better be careful.
He better be careful, or they'll take him out of the next game.
Dick Bavetta just tried to get him to walk off the floor, and he put his arm around him. And Shaquille, I think they're still seething over the whole thing that's happening in the last game. Made it clear that he didn't want to be touched by Shaquille O'Neal.
To Scott Hastings.
Right.
Scott, are you there?
Yo, sorry, I get here with thing that I'm right in front of me. Shaquille came down and talked to Billy Oakes and said, what did I do? The teammates tried to pull him away. He just said, no, I'm okay. What'd I do? Billy Oakes was basically walked away from him and said, you're out of here. And that's when we got mad. Shaq said, well, I ain't going. And finally, that's when Dick Bavetta, the veteran he is, kind of walked Shaq off. Because we know if Shaq would have stayed on, could have been fined by the league.
Stephen Howard on Jerome Kersey. Howard gets it to go. Counted for 2 and sent it to the free throw line with 7:23 to play. It's 88-66 Los Angeles.
And Jerome Kersey just fouled out of the game.
Second player to do so. Isley fouled out moments ago for Utah. And he'll argue it.
Yeah, and this is the sign of this team a little bit, and this is the problem. If the official calls it, it doesn't matter at this point. You're not going to get anything else out of it. Get off the floor, whether you like the call or not.
And this is a very lenient crew as well, of Bavetta, Durham, and Billy Oakes. A very veteran crew, and then one with many playoff games under their belt. And in a game that has been very difficult to call, they've done a very good job. As Travis Knight now takes the place of Kersey, and we've got 7:23 to play in the fourth.
You know, we can sit here and say that they did not talk about the incident the other day where they felt the no call cost them the game. This is all a residual of that. When you see guys keep barking at officials in a game that's won for no reason, I don't care what the circumstances are, you got to let it go. You got to, you know, you're here looking at several, you know, a 22, 21-point lead. No need to worry about officials now.
Well, the big question was how the Lakers would respond. What a play by Kobe Bryant!
Oh, you'll see that all day long with Kobe.
How can someone that young do something so spectacular? Wow! Travel on Stockton.
Are you saying that because you're young, you can't make great plays?
That was the play of a guy who's played many NBA seasons, not a kid who's just 18 years old who played high school basketball at this time a year ago.
No, that's the guy that's just got tremendous basketball skills. Not only athletic skills, but he's got tremendous basketball skills. And Jerry West has said when they worked him out, they thought this guy had more skills than anybody they've ever worked out before. That's why they traded Vlade Divac for the rights to get to him.
Kobe Bryant, who has been a factor tonight with a lot of minutes.
Watch the finish.
Look, very easy. There's Kobe Bryant, part of that great Laker bench attack tonight.
Yeah, the benches for the Lakers has come to play, 33-13. Bryant has got now 12 of that 34, and Byron Scott, who took a hard spill, has 10 of those. So they were able to get some from a little bit of the backcourt more so than the front court. But they were able to get some help, is what they needed, because you had to go without Shaquille because he got in foul trouble. He's now out of the game, but it does not matter. I don't think there's much chance the Jazz can figure out enough offense to get it going. I think Karl Malone, we may have seen the last of him unless Jerry Sloan decides to try to just let him get a little offensive rhythm.
Going into the game on Saturday here, which you can watch on NBC. Here's Carr ducking the defense of Campbell. Travis Knight, the rookie, gets the ball and gives it up to Bryant.
He's got a little bit of the Allen Iverson kind of dribble that's just short, if you will, of pondering the ball by some people's perspective. But, you know, as a former player, I say if the officials let you do it, then you do it. You know, I hear a lot of people
right there.
Yeah, he traveled. I hear a lot of people complain about it. But if the official lets you play that way, you play that way.
Well, a little different. The Stockton-Malone combination.
I'll tell you what, they'll load up on Saturday. They will load up because they pride themselves, both of them, in coming and doing their job and doing them very well. And neither one of them played the way they could play today. I mean, I think that I'm not sure that the effort was there. They just did not get it done the way that the Jazz needed them to.
And this game was for the taking.
Yeah, this game was definitely for the taking. This game was for the taking until about 6.5 minutes, actually 5.5 minutes in the third quarter. The Lakers had a chance to give it away, and the Jazz could have taken it.
Robert Horry for three. He had 7 the other night in Salt Lake. Rebound by Stephen Howard to Hornacek. A nice no-look pass. Shandon Anderson with a charge. 5.5 to play in the game.
Though Anderson picks up that foul, he's the brother of Willie Anderson, who's with the Miami Heat. He did, for the Lakers, I thought, a very good job until he got hurt. He was the energy early in the season when the Jazz were playing very strong basketball. Then he got injured. They went back to a lineup that included other people. Adam Keefe got minutes, but Anderson is a guy they're really pleased with, and they like the fact that he has good energy.
Brooks and Carr. A lot of minutes tonight for Kobe Bryant over fellow rookie Shandon Anderson. Rebound by Knight.
Oh, great foul.
What a pass and what a play by Kobe Bryant.
That's what a guy that can jump can do. He can go on one side and finish it on the other. But Knight makes a very good pass for a big man to get the ball down there.
There's Stephen Howard. 4:50 in the game. Controlled now by Los Angeles. A couple injuries in this game that probably should be noted going into game 4. As you see, Derek Fisher set the check in the contest. But Ostertag's knee, he's gone. And the shooting wrist, the right wrist of Byron Scott, who has been a factor in the last 2 games.
I think Ostertag is the biggest. I mean, even though for the Lakers, that Byron Scott is the guy that may get your numbers. For the Jazz to do what they think they can do, which is win the NBA championship, get to the Western Conference Final, they need Ostertag because he has been defensively in position guarding Shaquille, Hadn't scored a lot in his block shot, so he's done a very good job protecting the middle.
Bryant drove into a thicket of Jazz players inside the lane. A foul was eventually assessed. Shandon Anderson. Jerry Sloan is a guy that doesn't get a lot of attention around the league. In 9 years, he has put together some of the strongest team this league has seen.
He's got the longest tenure of any coach in the league. I think the next one is Phil Jackson. We're looking at about 8 years. So I think that the fact that he's been at the same place for as long as he has says he's done a very good job.
Before that, he was Frank Layden's assistant.
Yeah, Frank Layden, who's now the president of the organization. And I think Frank Layden and his son Scott do a good job, again, finding the talent. But Jerry Sloan is a guy he's a straight shooter, and he doesn't expect any one thing except come do your job. And he doesn't feel like he needs to tell you to come do that every day.
Kobe Bryant, 17 points in the game, 15 in this quarter. As it's gone to 96-71. It's all Los Angeles. They needed a win, and they're going to get a win over Utah. And so the series will go to 2-1. Utah's advantage, game 4 Saturday. Knocked away by Rooks. Picked up by Knight. Ahead to Derek Fisher.
Yeah, you've seen all kind of uncharacteristic things with the Jazz. Passes into the defense as opposed to away from it. Maybe losing some transition. They have not been able to do a good job, and I'm sure Dale Harris will try to take advantage of it. They've not done a very good job staying in front of Kobe Bryant.
Lakers have still not hit a 3 after hitting 11 the other night in Salt Lake. No threes in this game. Rebound by Knight. They like this rookie out of Connecticut, Knight.
Yeah, because he doesn't need the ball to be effective.
Corie Blount, the former Chicago Bull.
Well, Corie Blount had been out in the first 2 games because he had shoulder problem, and they brought. He actually kind of the first game he showed up for the second game. They didn't expect him to be there, but he was a guy that actually had played pretty well. He's a former teammate of Nick, not former teammate. He and Nick Van Exel played together in Cincinnati.
Here's Anderson. They got the runner to go, and he was shoved inside, but they won't count it. Well, Chicago lost tonight, so that series is tied at 1 apiece. Now they go to Atlanta. And New York, I think surprising a lot of people with their win in Miami last night. That's a 1-0 lead for the Knicks.
Yeah, but they've just beaten the Knicks. Miami had beaten, and the Knicks had beaten Miami just a couple of weeks before. So the Knicks felt pretty comfortable they could come in and steal a game. There's no doubt about it. The shocker is obviously Atlanta, after playing close in game 1, winning game 2, getting what you want out of a split. Now they have to go back and hold serve, if you will.
Kobe Bryant goes high
On a bad pass. I mean, I'm telling you, this kid's got talent. That pass was too hard, and he caught it and just took it up, put it in the basket. Even got Dale Harris to get a smile on his face.
Shandon Anderson with a nice reverse with 2:50 to play in the game.
So the Lakers can feel good about themselves. What they learned is that if they stay with it, they give themselves a chance. But I think they also should be realistic about it. They played a Jazz team that was not as effective as they've been. But at this point in the playoff, it doesn't matter as long as you get a win.
Travis Knight can't hit it, keep with the rebound. And it was really the 4th quarter where it was unleashed by the Lakers. It's 13-point Laker lead at the end of 3. 13 points at halftime, Lakers on top. Hornacek had an unbelievable 3rd quarter, just threw that one away off of Keith. Hornacek went 8 of 9 in the 3rd. But this 4th quarter has belonged to Kobe Bryant. 18 years old. Spectacular play after spectacular play.
Saturday night basketball, Adelaide versus Canberra. The NBL tonight, 9 o'clock, only on Fox Sports.
It's been all Los Angeles. This 4th quarter is and they pulled out. Utah has shot 26%. They have only made 20 field goals. And the all-time record for fewest field goals made in a playoff game, go back to 1994 and 95 when New Jersey and Cleveland each made 21, as you see right there. So, you could have some history in the making if Utah can't convert in the final 2:05, which is unlikely, but it could happen.
Believe me, they had 6 baskets in all of the first half. It's very easy for that to happen. Believe me. So for them to come up with another one here, the way they shot it today is a minor miracle. Karl Malone just could not find the basket. So he gets a chance to get a break, and I suspect that you'll see a very inspired Karl Malone as he gets prepared for Game 4. Because he's a guy with tremendous pride, like most of these guys in this league, but nobody likes to come out and go. I mean, it was almost going, it looked like he was going for an offer.
It's amazing that this is the same Utah team we saw Tuesday up in Salt Lake City.
But it also tells you the nature of the game. And that's why, you know, if you're the Jazz, you can't afford to get yourself in these kind of positions. If you got a chance to close it out, go ahead and close it. Because what happens is you get a circumstance, they don't, you know, Oster tag. You have to assume he'll be healthy, but if he's not, then you put yourself at risk having to go an extra couple of games there, and then you put yourself in a tough position for the conference finals if you get there.
Fisher wiggles his way for 2. Minute and a half to play in the game. It's the Lakers 102 and Utah 74.
You see, Jerry Sloan's going to Hornacek to get Stockton out of the game, because what he doesn't want to do, when you're in a game where you've gotten yourself beat like this, you don't want to run these starters out if you don't have to. And if you handle the ball a lot, that's what can happen.
Nick Van Exel had a great game. He is our Bud player of the game. 29 minutes, 17 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. And a very staunch effort from Van Exel. And I think there were a lot of observers that came into the series feeling that for this Laker team to win, sure, Shaq had to play well, sure, Campbell had to have some productive moments, but Van Exel had to score.
Well, I think both Van Exel and Campbell are the keys, because I think they give you the additional player. Obviously, you get somebody from the perimeter, and it makes you a little bit better and can handle the ball. But Campbell has got to give Shaquille some help down on the block to take some of the pressure off of him.
Sean Rooks fouled by Stephen Howard. There's Byron Scott. His shooting wrist is of some concern now to the Lakers. They'll probably put a lot of ice on it if it's not already on there right now, and he will hopefully be hale and hearty for Los Angeles on Saturday. So he has been a factor in the last 2 games.
You can see they wrapped it already. They've already wrapped it. It'll be sore when I don't care what they do with ice. It will be sore on Saturday. The question is, can he play through it? Because one of the things that happens when you get your wrist like that, it's hard. It's not so much to get it to the basket. It's the follow through, which is a little extra extension that may be difficult to have. So I'm sure with today's technology, you know, getting a little, you know, rub down, massage, they'll do everything they can to make sure they get that wrist right.
And you said you weren't a doctor.
I guess it was pretty evident when I started to explain that.
There's Stephen Howard, rejected by Kobe Bryant, who is glistened in this 4th quarter.
Well, you get a peek at the kind of talent that is there. And now as you start to add experience to that talent of Kobe Bryant, then you'll see a player that is going to be as good as anybody in basketball. He almost had that still.
Shandon Anderson into Howard. We got the 2. There are a lot of things about this series which are now beginning to take shape and take form, and one of which is that Shaquille O'Neal, although so many people predicted that he would have a huge factor in this series, has not been much of a factor. He's done about what people, well, what a lot of people thought he might do, but he hasn't done what people thought he could do.
First of all, it's unfair. And when Shaquille O'Neal went to the finals with Orlando, Shaquille O'Neal had Penny Hardaway, who is probably, Penny Hardaway is coming off being on Green Team 3. They don't have anybody on the Lakers that is exactly in the same position. So it makes it a huge difference, because Shaquille is in a dependent position where he depends on somebody else to get him the ball in order to make plays.
Chris Morris on the quick break. 104-81. Lakers in the seconds ticking off here in the 4th quarter. They got to win. They needed a win. It was a must game. Called the most important of the season by their coach, Del Harris.
They deserve credit. I mean, I don't care how ugly it is. They deserve the credit to the Lakers because they came and got it done. Playoff time, there's no such thing as a bad win or an ugly win as long as you get it done, and that's what the Lakers have done here.
So the Lakers survive an ejection of Shaquille O'Neal, an injury to Byron Scott, foul trouble for O'Neal most of the game. He got his 4th early in the 3rd quarter. And even with a Utah team that was shooting so horribly in the first half, just 14%, Anderson connects for three. And with a chance to get back in, the Lakers held what kind of ground they could muster, and they go on to win the game.
They withstood Hornacek starting to get on the roll, and then all of a sudden they were able to get Kobe Bryant on the floor, and then Van Exel came and kind of popped it open for them. Now they got a chance to get themselves even in game 4.
So a 12-0 start to the fourth quarter for Los Angeles. They took command of the momentum, and they go on to win it 104-84. They were led by the 17 points from Van Exel, the 19 points from Kobe Bryant, who had a brilliant fourth quarter. We go to Scott Hastings.
Thanks, Kevin. Kobe, you should be at the University of Arkansas doing this to the SEC. Instead, you're in here in the NBA playoffs, and what a great game you had.
Thank you. It's great. It's great to find your chance to play in the playoffs against a team like the Utah Jazz. And, it's great. It's a dream come true.
You know, here's a guy like yourself who's a young rookie. I've seen you getting on Shaq, telling him to calm down. You got on Sean Rooks a while ago. You envision yourself being a leader someday of this team.
Well, I try to do whatever it takes for us to win the ball game. And in certain situations, if I see something that's going wrong, I say something to my teammates. They see something I'm doing wrong, to get on me as well. So it's good to have that mutual respect.
So now your pops has got a little experience in this. Now, when he call you, does he critique what you did or not?
Oh, always, always. And my family is my biggest critics. I have cousins who play basketball. My grandparents, they all call me and say the things I've done wrong and so forth.
Hey, you're just lucky that Quinn Buckner sent over there one Dean. I don't know if you got to see him. They had black and white television back then, but he used to be able to guard people. Congratulations, good game, man. Let's go back to the table.